Now the origin and the course of the glossopharyngeal nerve. Before we go to the course, this diagram has been made so many times. So you should know the structures. This is the hyoid bone, this is the mandible. It is the sagittal section. From the mandible, this is the genioglossus. Hyoid bone, it is the hyoglossus muscle. It is the styloid process. It is the styloglossus, and this muscle, it is the stylopharyngeus muscle. There are two muscles in this diagram, styloglossus and the stylopharyngeus. Here it is the hard palate. From hard palate, it is suspended soft palate, and this is the tonsillar fossa, in which it is the palatine tonsil. Now this muscle, it comes from the hyoid bone. It is the middle constrictor of the pharynx. This muscle, on which it is the common carotid artery, bifurcate into this is the external carotid and this is the internal carotid artery. Both arteries. Now this is the internal jugular vein. This is the internal jugular vein, and this is the jugular foramen. From the jugular foramen, this yellow structure's nerve, it is the glossopharyngeal nerve. It is the course of the glossopharyngeal nerve. Above, it is the middle ear cavity, from which it is the auditory tube. This is the otic ganglion, and this is the parotid gland. Now this is the part of the brain stem. It is the pons. This is the medulla, and this is the spinal cord. Now, if we go to the medulla has a median fissure. This line, it is the median fissure that divides the medulla into the two halves. Then, lateral to the median fissure, it is the anterolateral sulcus. The upper end of the anterolateral sulcus separates this P. P means pyramid. It is the structure, brain. We discuss in the brain. Behind the just side to pyramid, it is another swelling. It is the olive. It is the olive. Between the pyramid and the olive, it is the anterolateral sulcus that is present on the both sides. Now there is a sulcus side to this anterolateral sulcus, that is the posterolateral sulcus. This posterolateral sulcus separates the olive from inferior cerebellar peduncle. Only remember the name, because we have not studied the brain. So, only name, it is the pyramid, olive, and just olive side, it is the inferior cerebellar peduncle, and these are separated by the root, sulcus. In the midline, it is the median fissure. Just side to the median, it is the anterolateral sulcus, and anterolateral sulcus side, it is the posterolateral sulcus. This posterolateral sulcus is important in relation with the glossopharyngeal nerve. This is the upper end of the medulla, and this posterolateral sulcus is present between the olive and the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Now this glossopharyngeal nerve takes origin from the upper end of the medulla. This is the medulla, upper end. From its posterolateral sulcus. This is the posterolateral sulcus. This posterolateral sulcus, we have mentioned, it is present between the olive, that is the O, and its side, it is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. This part is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So, this nerve takes origin from the upper part of the posterolateral sulcus, and just lower part of the posterolateral sulcus gives origin to the 10th and the 11th cranial nerve. Means this posterolateral sulcus from above to below, it is the 9th, 10th and the 11th cranial nerve is attached. And this nerve takes origin by the 4 to 5 rootlets. These are the 4 to 5 rootlets, small branches, and that unite to form the main trunk. This is the main trunk. In short, it takes origin from the posterolateral sulcus of the upper end of the medulla by 4 to 5 rootlets that unite to form the single nerve. Now, this hypoglossal nerve, glossopharyngeal nerve, leaves the cranial cavity. It comes out from the cranial cavity by passing through the jugular foramen. Jugular foramen, it is divided into 3 compartments: anterior, intermediate and the posterior compartment. Remember the class of the osteology. This intermediate part of the jugular foramen contains 3 cranial nerves. Means 3 cranial nerves comes out through the intermediate part of the jugular foramen, and that is the 9th, 10th and the 11th cranial nerve, and they are arranged anteriorly to posteriorly according to their numbers. Means 9th is anterior, 10th is intermediate and the 11th is the posterior in the position in the jugular foramen. Now, while passing through the foramen, it possesses 2 ganglions. These are the 2 swelling. In this diagram, this is the ganglion. It is the superior ganglion and this is the inferior ganglion. So, while passing through the ganglion, foramen, jugular foramen, this nerve possesses 2 ganglion. It is the superior ganglion, upper, while the inferior ganglion, it is just below the jugular foramen, and the superior ganglion, it is in the jugular foramen. Now the superior ganglion, it is the small, and it is considered as a detached part of the inferior ganglion, and it gives no branches. It is about the superior ganglion. Now the inferior ganglion, it is the inferior ganglion. It is the larger, and it is the sensory ganglion. It is the sensory ganglion, and gives a branch. The first branch, that is the tympanic branch. This is the tympanic branch, enters the middle ear cavity, forms the tympanic plexus. Then this is the lesser petrosal nerve. Remember the class of the middle ear cavity. The medial wall, it has the promontory, where the tympanic plexus formed by the tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve, and this tympanic branch enters through the tympanic canaliculus, the bony edge between the carotid canal and the jugular foramen has the minute foramens, that is known as the tympanic canaliculus. So this inferior ganglion, it gives a branch, it is the tympanic branch. Both ganglion are the sensory ganglion. Now, after coming out from the foramen, jugular foramen, it has the extracranial force. This is the extracranial force. Now see this diagram. This is the foramen. This nerve comes out from the jugular foramen. It runs downwards and the forwards. And the first passes between the internal jugular vein and the internal carotid artery. This is the internal jugular vein, and this is the internal carotid artery. So it first passes between these 2 structures. Then it passes between the internal carotid artery and the external carotid artery. It comes between the 2 arteries, and during this it passes in front of the internal carotid artery. Now it comes between the external and the internal carotid artery. Then it passes deep to the styloid apparatus. Styloid apparatus means styloid crosses along with the muscles attached to it, muscles and the ligament attached to it. And at this relation it comes in the relation with the tonsillar fossa. Remember the class of the tonsillar fossa. It is the superior constrictor muscles that separate this glossopharyngeal nerve from this tonsillar fossa. Now this nerve, after passing deep to the styloid apparatus, it comes in relation with the posterior border of the stylopharyngeus muscle. This is the stylopharyngeus muscle. It comes the posterior border. This is the posterior border. And along with this stylopharyngeus muscle, this nerve passes between the gap of the superior constrictor and the middle constrictor. This is the middle constrictor. It is the constrictor of the pharynx. What structures passes between the superior constrictor and the middle constrictor? Means the lower border of the superior constrictor, and this is the upper border of the middle constrictor. It is the stylopharyngeus muscle and the glossopharyngeal nerve. These two structures passes. Then it crosses the stylopharyngeus laterally or superficially. After the posterior border, it crosses superficially. And then it passes deep to the hyoglossus muscle. This is the hyoglossus. It is the hyoglossus muscle. Name the three structures that passes deep to the hyoglossus muscle from the posterior margin. One structure is the glossopharyngeal nerve, and then it divides into the terminal branches. Divide into the terminal branches and supply the tongue, tonsil, soft palate. So this is the origin and the short course of this glossopharyngeal nerve.